Yo, 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 here we are live with 49er Minded. We're back with our channel, Wrecked Border Sports, and we're here to talk about the 49ers game. Waruna, you got anything to say?
Yes. Welcome to WBS. Everyone, I hope everybody enjoyed today's and especially just before while we are going live, Josh Allen just putting some ridiculous performance out there. I think every team should be aware of this team, this quarterback. Basha, welcome to the show. 49er Minded. How are you doing today?
I'm doing I was doing really bad earlier today. I was feeling pretty crappy. I had a migraine, to be honest with you, but I'm doing great
no.
now that I'm on with you guys. I'm feeling a bit better, and honestly, I am feeling better right now. And hey, it's always a good day if the Raiders lose and get ousted from the playoffs, right? Because I hate the Raiders.
Oh,
And the Patriots are getting their butts kicked by Buffalo Bills, the one AFC team I've been rooting for pretty much for the whole season. And Josh Allen is a monster.
Yes.
they are mollywopping the
McCorkle
Patriots
is
right
not.
now. There's
I
two.
think important thing about Josh Allen's performance today is that you could see everything in his arsenal because he was throwing deep touchdown bombs. Then he would throw that underarm passes, everything, rushing. So it's a complete package. I think probably for a long time this would be the best quarterback performances in a playoff game, without a doubt.
So not to cheat Josh Allen of his glory right now, but you also have to think about how there's been a couple of interceptions that were not necessarily a bad throw, you know what I mean? And it just kills the morale of the team, and it's kept their defense out the whole time, and they're tired and suck and win. But at the same time, he's been throwing dimes, you know what I mean? And Singletary has been running his ass off tonight, and he's been talking shit to the linebackers, and deservedly so, because he's been punking them. So, yeah.
I just pulled up Josh Allen's stat line: 307 yards, 21 for 25 completion ratio, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks. He's just putting together a Hall of Fame type game.
He's throwing dimes. Like I said, not to steal any of his thunder. I just wanted to throw that out there that there's been a couple things that have broken the morale of this team, and I can see that. But he's having an exceptional game right now.
Yes.
He's lighting shit on fire.
Hi to the Amin here. Amin,
what up, Amin?
Tonight.
Get Amin the Dream 1,000 subs.
Yeah, get Amin to 1,000 subs.
Yes. So, before we start the episode with our game tomorrow, since you talked about Raiders, Basha, I just wanted to mention this. I know even I do hate Raiders as a 49er fan, but what Raiders achieved this season is remarkable, given the fact what they went through off field. I mean, John Gruden, Henry Ruggs, and some other players getting involved with all the DUI and drama. This team still finished 10-7, and gave a good fight against Bengals team, up and coming Bengals team. So in all, I think they deserve some respect. The way they played, I think it's pretty good.
When I take my football fandom out of the equation, I've been saying it all year that the Raiders have totally overcome adversity in one of the best ways I've ever seen. They lose their coach. They lose Henry Ruggs to a horrible tragedy. God rest that lady. So I think it was a female that lost her life in her dog.
Yes.
Or something
Poor
like that.
thing. Oh my God.
That's such a terrible story. I mean, as much as I hate that team, I'd never wish any of that crap on them. Damon Arnett and then his foolishness off the field. Gruden being investigated, and I'm probably missing something else. Oh, and they had another player to get a DUI or something. And honestly, I thought the common denominator in the games that I watched, at least I didn't watch every single Raider game, but every now and then I'd watch games towards the end. I'm like, oh, I hope the Raiders lose. But in the fourth quarter, I always thought Derek Carr would pull off some type of heroics. Now he didn't do it today, obviously, but Whenever I saw Derek Carr this year, I was like, oh, he's better than Jimmy G. He can move around better. He has better awareness, obviously, in the pocket. He's obviously faster than Jimmy G. And he has a much better arm. And it seems, even with their, a head coach that they didn't expect to be a head coach, and they brought in Deshaun Jackson. I get it. He's a veteran receiver. He's not, he's no spring chicken like Ruggs is, but they found ways, to win games. And
you can't speak enough for the coach, too.
I never thought their roster was all that impressive to begin with. I really didn't, especially since they lost Ruggs, and they found ways to squeak into to win games and squeak into the playoffs. So hey, hats off to them. I can't stand the team, but they did a good job of fighting adversity all year long.
Yes. Okay. So with that said, let's move on to our discussion today. Cowboys versus 49ers. Now, I did not follow football when this rivalry started, but when I read about Steve Young, his book starts, a whole chapter starts with 1994 NFC Championship game. How nervous he was facing Cowboys, because they knew if they did beat Cowboys, that Super Bowl, then and there. Because Super Bowl then is just a match, just a cakewalk for them. So Basha, since you followed 49ers from early 90s throughout your teenage years, how do you feel? How excited are you to see Cowboys and 49ers again meeting in a playoff game?
So just to go backwards a little bit, this 49er team in general, along with other 49er fans, could probably agree with me. We didn't have much for high hopes this season with all the crap that was going on, especially early on in the season, losing stupid games that we had no business losing. You can blame the coach, you can blame the quarterback, you can blame the injuries, blame the lack of talent at cornerback. And so this season I wasn't really expecting to go in the playoffs, and I was thinking, okay, maybe if we do squeak in, we may win one game and be done, or may not even win the first round. But with that said, the fact that we're playing the Cowboys brought newfound excitement to this season. It's like, whoa, okay. I mean, if you guys jumped on my channel, I did three freaking videos in a row. I had 3 days of straight videos to talk about this upcoming game, because the history and the heritage behind it is, it's up there with the greatest rivalries in the NFL, in my opinion. And if you go as far as back, it's before my time. I mean, in the early 70s, there was John Brody, 49ers quarterback, and I believe it was the 1971 season where we played the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship game at Kezar Stadium. We lost to the Cowboys. I believe it was the year 1972 when they played the game. But, and then when the Joe Montana catch game came around, I was alive. I was a little kid, though. I was still here, but I wasn't watching football back then. And I wish I did. I wish my family was into football and they knew about it to get me to watch the game. But, I ended up watching the Niners a little bit after they won their second Super Bowl. I remember their second Super Bowl being on TV, but I wasn't a fan yet. But let's just say that when I was in elementary school, one guy I know, a good buddy of mine, John, and another guy, Sammy, really good friends of mine, but they happened to be Cowboys fans, and we were always going back and forth. Once I finally became a Niner fan, me and those two guys and my brother along with them would always go back and forth. Oh, 49ers are better. No, Cowboys are better. And at the time, the Niners had a strong upper hand on the Cowboys. We embarrassed them with the catch game, and we kind of put the Cowboys in the cellar for a whole decade at one point. And it wasn't until when I was in high school when the Cowboys found their niche with Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, and Michael Irvin, probably my second year in high school, and Cowboys were starting to show that they were a decent team. Third year when I was in high school, they freaking beat the Buffalo Bills, and they beat us en route to beat the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. So, we had a really good season with Steve Young. I was so excited, so pumped up. Ricky Watters put up 1,000 yards in his first year playing. Jerry Rice was Jerry Rice. John Taylor was John Taylor. Oh, yeah. And Brent Jones was Brent Jones, of course, that year. And I was excited. We were at Candlestick. It was a super, super rainy game. The game was raining like crazy and all muddy. And I thought we'd have the advantage, but we ended up losing that close game. We actually had a deep bomb to Jerry Rice, like one of the first plays of the game, I think. And they called it back for a ticky-tack holding call. And it just seemed like everything went downhill during that game. Next time we played them, we got freaking blown out in Dallas, I believe. Forgot what the score was, but it was embarrassing, and it was a total pain in the ass to watch the game. And in the Bay Area, I never recalled anybody seeing any Dallas Cowboy hats, jerseys, jackets or whatever. But during that period of time, people were walking around with their brand new Dallas Cowboys starter jackets, their brand new Dallas Cowboy hats and jerseys. And me and my friends would walk around like, oh my gosh, where are all these Cowboy fans coming from? It was just because they were the talk of the town. They were the hot team to talk about on TV. And the 49ers took a back seat to them. Then 1994 season, we signed Deion Sanders. We had a stacked team to begin with, but the fact that we signed Deion Sanders was just ridiculous. And
pushed us over the top.
Yeah, we overcame them. Steve Young kicked their ass in the playoffs, and we also beat them in the regular season before that, and we won the Super Bowl. So we could go back and forth all day long with Cowboy fans if we had a Cowboy fan on here, but it's definitely made this game, a whole lot more exciting. If we were playing some other team, obviously it's the playoffs, we'll still get excited, but not to this level. And I hear there's a huge showing of 49er fans right now in Dallas.
Yeah. So also, I wanted to say something. You touched on how all of a sudden Dallas became, such a threat. That was because of the big Herschel Walker trade.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Minnesota Vikings basically gifted the Dallas franchise the biggest gift they could ever give them. I forgot how many picks they threw at them for Herschel.
I think
Walker.
It was 13. I think
yeah, it was crazy.
It was more than 10. If I remember correctly,
I was at a video
10.
game store. I was in junior high. I was at some video game store, and somebody was like, "Hey, Herschel Walker got traded to the Vikings," and some store employee was talking about it. And at the time, I was thinking, "Okay, whatever. Who cares?" I had no idea it would affect the 49ers. I'll tell you that much. But back then, running backs were valued a whole lot more than they are now,
Yes, they were.
But yeah, stupid trade on the Vikings part. And you know what? Back to the Niners, we were stupid at one point because in the 1992 season, we had traded away Charles Haley to the freaking Cowboys. So we gave them an all-pro pass rusher.
Just an amazing dude. I was listening to Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin talking about that trade and how from their angle, how big it was, you know what I mean? From their side, because they knew what much of a playmaker he was.
Yes.
Yeah, Charles Haley was relentless back then, without a doubt.
Also, the other thing to add about that Herschel Walker and all those trades, what came from that was how the teams do their NFL trades now today, how the point system goes and how much somebody is worth and how much, the second and third and it equals all that whole thing that was put through because of all those picks. Essentially, Jimmy Johnson, had all those picks and he had to figure out how to use them, how to move around and use them. And had somebody put up they had some mathematician or somebody come up with some
Jimmy Johnson trade chart or Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I heard something
Jimmy
about
Johnson
that, yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu. Jimmy Johnson Jiu-Jitsu.
Jiu-Jitsu, baby.
Yeah, this is the mathematical jiu-jitsu.
Jimmy Johnson and the hair that was like
what did Marine say?
It was like around and like form of plastic. It had like 20,000 pounds of hairspray on his hair. Moved.
If Amin knows that trading Haley was a mistake, then you know what I mean. A young kid coming up in this time knows how much of a magnitude of a loss that was.
And keep in mind, on paper, it didn't. So keep in mind, Haley. Now, I didn't know this at the time. I knew Haley had some issues because it was kind of leaked and reported, but it wasn't. They didn't have the internet back then, so a lot of things were kept under wraps. But the things that Haley did in the locker room, against Steve Young and against some of the other players in the locker room, were things that are like Some of them are kind of like a X-rated type of deal, weirdo kind of stuff. Now, I don't know what doctors they sent towards his way or whatever, but I mean, it wasn't like there wasn't a reason to move from him. Now they should have handled it differently, in my opinion. Obviously, and the worst thing you could do is trade into a freaking NFC team on the
dude. The freaking.
And the thing was, though, that season we had actually picked up Tim Harris that season, and right before training camp started. So Tim Harris at the time was another All-Pro pass rusher from Green Bay Packers, but he was more like a one-move pass rusher. And he was really good on the Green Bay Packers, and we got him. And he had a couple of good years for us, but he wasn't the constant pressure guy that Haley was, But that was just a stupid thing to do. Yeah, keep in mind when we traded him the year before, Dallas Cowboys were a horrible team. But that particular season we traded him. The Cowboys were like you could tell they were a team on the rise, and then the year after they went straight to the Super Bowl.
So I remember after we traded Charles Haley, right? I don't remember Charles Haley playing on the team. I was born 4 months after the catch. Okay. So all of a sudden I remember us going up against Charles Haley, and I remember, without cursing, essentially cursing his name. And I remember talking to my mom. The reason why I love football the way I do is because of my mom, a single mother who realized she was raising a boy and realized she needed to, she was a woman and didn't understand how men do things, but she understood men like watch football. So she put me in front of football when I was real young. She didn't even watch it herself, but she put it in front of it. And I was sitting there going, Mom, this Charles Haley guy. And she says, oh, he used to play for us. And I was like, he used to play for us? And she's like, yeah, we traded him to it. I said, why would you ever do such a thing? She says, I don't know, honey. And I was just like, are you kidding me? This guy's a freaking monster. This guy is just running through us. He's just causing havoc on the line. He's like 2.5 people. You know what I mean? Because once you cause a double team, right, and you have that big, huge mass there, and then you're able to defeat that double team and get around it, you are essentially 2.5 people. You know what I'm saying? He was just a monster on the line.
Keep in mind, you do remember that he did come back to the Niners too at one point, right?
Oh no, I probably forgot about that.
Okay, so he came back. I know he was definitely on the team in the 1999 season, and I believe he came back in the 98 season. So remember the game that we had against the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs? They had the catch two with Terrell Owens or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's the other people. That's the other team I hated as a kid.
I hate the Packers. The Terrell Owens catch two game. Charles Haley was back on the 49ers, and he wore number 95. So. That's another tidbit. He wasn't as good though when he came back. Though he was all right.
I grew up loving Steve Young and Bryant Young.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I remember Montana playing, but I really, got into my Niners football phase in the young years. And like, how they're talking, how the championship or the Super Bowl was always in the championship, right?
Oh yeah, so the championship game was the Super Bowl, basically. Yeah. Yeah.
So the '95 Super Bowl, like I was kind of worried playing the Chargers. I was like, man, this the NFC Championship was bad. What's going to happen? Oh man. So let's see, what am I at this time? I'm 12. I think 12-year-old Ryan goes to a church, like a church teen pastor's house to watch the game. And he happens to be a San Diego Chargers fan. And little Ryan obviously is a Niners fan, been faithful, named my daughter Faith, right? So I just have no chill, and I am just talking mad crap as his team is being freaking destroyed. Right? I look back on it.
Great experience.
Oh, I look back on it kind of cringe now because I'm not that type of fan now. You know what I'm saying? If I'm in the room with another team's fan that I'm playing, or that we're playing, that my team's playing, I don't rub things in. I used to be a ref, so I can see things from both angles. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not too much into it, even though I'm really into it. I can play that, so I try to be nice, but man, I was not nice then. I'm sure he wanted to slap my little 12-year-old ass.
Okay, so
when I watched that Super Bowl, I was with a bunch of Niner fans. There were no Charger fans in sight.
So a lot of stories from old days, so nice to hear them all. So let's jump into the game a bit now. So Basha, where do you think that. Let's start with Cowboys. Where do you think that Cowboys can challenge 49ers? Because their offense has been doing well, especially last two games. They dumped like a combined 107 points or something like that. Yes, against Eagles, Eagles did not have the starters, but still, Dallas offense was moving well during the latter part of this regular season. So, where do you think that Dallas has this advantage over Niners?
Obviously, and we've been suffering this whole season. You could say in terms of our cornerback play, there's no joke about that, no mystery about that. That is, yeah, they have CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. If I was the Dallas Cowboys, I'd try to throw some deep bombs on. I try to definitely challenge Ambry Thomas as much as I could, and even Mosley for that matter, and just see if we can get some PI penalties and possibly a deep touchdown here and there. I mean, I think it's as simple as that. But again, it takes time to make those throws from time to time. Now there's guys like Aaron Rodgers who can sit back in the pocket with 1.5 seconds and throw that deep back shoulder pass that's so irritating to watch, and doesn't need that much time. But some QBs may need time. Now Prescott's mobile, so he can buy himself some time too. But that's a strategy I go with.
So I think we need to address Amin's question here about the
Yes, I
PI.
missed that.
Yes. So, yes, it's PI. But to me, it's PI. But I'm happy they didn't call it, and I'm okay with that. So the big issue is that Dion put his hand out and stopped essentially Irvin from being able to raise his left arm. If I remember how the angle was, his left arm, and not being able to finish the catch with that. And to me, yes, that's pass interference. At the time, at today's standards, yes, it's pass interference. Then they really didn't care too much. They just let people get their heads taken off. Didn't care about
that's
that.
right. So obviously now you think that Cowboys can target our cornerbacks. 49ers, we all know the run game is our strong point, but do you think there are any other areas that we are good at that we can challenge Dallas?
I don't think
Something
I don't
we
think
can
they.
surprise them?
I don't think the Cowboys have a safety or linebacker that can cover Kittle. So, in any way possible, get Kittle involved in the passing game. I know we didn't do it last week because we were keeping Kittle as a freaking pass blocker to help out McKivitz, but I understand Trent Williams should be fine this game. Do whatever you can to get Kittle involved. So, and supposedly, from what I hear, is that Diggs doesn't necessarily guard the inside routes so well. So hey, run those slants with Debo or Ayuk and see what you can do. And who possibly Jennings too. I love Jennings because he's so damn big and he can body people out. People have been saying on other podcasts that he's kind of like a poor man's Brandon Marshall. So I mean, I don't know if it's good to give him that label, but hopefully he continues to progress and we can definitely be more confident with giving him that label because I love what I see so far of him, and I totally thought he should have been playing a whole lot more earlier in the season.
What's the rookie linebacker they moved to DN? What's his name?
Micah Parsons?
Yeah. So one thing I would do is that guy's a freaking athlete. I might even ask him to do something against Kittle. You know what I mean? Like cover him because that guy can run and he's very physical.
Yeah.
I would put it past him. That might be a lot
more to coverage than being physical and being able to run.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I think he's an athlete enough. He might be able to understand some things. Kittle does run some nasty routes, though. You know what I mean? But that's one thing you could do to make yourself more competitive on the edge with the run game, and especially with like how Kyle and the scheme, how he likes to call things. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what Kittle's going to do until after he's done it, essentially.
Yeah.
So if you have the guy who's essentially across the ball from him, the one who's supposed to cover him and press him, you know what I mean? Then two birds, one stone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So,
if they were to use Micah Parsons in coverage in that manner, though, then it also takes away from the Cowboys' pass rush. You assume, so it would kind of be a plus for us. And maybe, I don't know. I'd be crazy if Micah Parsons.
That's definitely true. No, that's definitely true.
Yeah. I'd welcome it. I'd love to see Parsons try to cover Kittle because I know he's more of a guy who's going to run forward and rush forward rather than be
who knows how his back pedal is.
Bear Baller 18, what's going on, man?
Oh, what up, Baller?
So, Basha, I want to ask another question now based on that. Debo, because today, Bengals Raiders game. Bengals, I think they watched 49ers very closely, and they were always trying to get Jamar Chase into the action. Deep passes, short passes, even they ran a jet sweep with Jamar Chase. They converted 4th and 1 with Jamar Chase. So they got the message clearly. If you have a player who can ball out, if he's your best player in your offense, use him. So how much do you think Deebo Samuel has to involve in this game in order to beat Dallas?
Now, in terms of how much, I think is determined as far as how effective Elijah Mitchell's going to be early on. I kind of see it that way because, if we can just have our day running the ball, we don't necessarily need to rely on Debo and all the trickery that we do with him. We could just kind of use him more as a regular wide receiver. But I know Kyle likes to have fun, and he likes to do all kinds of crazy stuff with Debo. So again, even if we are successful with Mitchell early on, it still wouldn't surprise me if Kyle does it, even though it does that crazy stuff with Debo, even though he doesn't necessarily need to. And we saw him throw a freaking pass last week to Jennings, right? So, but I just thought it was hilarious when now I think Jamar Chase is an excellent rookie wide receiver, very fast, and he's built or whatever, but. I saw them run that little jet sweep with him, and it was nice. It looked good, but at the end of the day, I don't care what talent you have at receiver. You can go down the line of all the elite receivers in the league. None of them can do those other things effectively as Debo can. Debo is he's his own unique type of player. He's a type of wide receiver I've never seen before, to be honest with you.
I think he can play quarterback as well because last game he threw one of the best touchdowns.
Yeah, it was crazy. He looked like he was gonna mess up initially, looked kind of awkward, and next thing you know, he lets it loose and throws it down the sideline. Freaking had good accuracy and everything, And everyone's complaining about Jennings bobbling the ball. I didn't think that was that big a deal. He caught it. So.
Yes, because even Aaron Rodgers would have clapped when he saw the clip, Debo throwing that touchdown pass. It was perfect to me.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was nice.
Other than that, now Debo has to definitely play a bigger part in this. But apart from that, do you think Jeff Wilson has some role to play in this game? Because we all know what Mitchell can do, but do you think Wilson has the explosiveness? He can break through tackles. Do you think he should be involved in this game? Maybe for a change, since it's I don't know how long we are going to go through the playoffs, but do you think Jeff Wilson should be involved in this game compared to the last few games?
For some strange reason, Kyle likes to run the living daylights out of his running backs. Where I used to think of Kyle Shanahan as a guy that would split carries and get more running backs involved. But for some reason, he just when he sees the hot hand, he just gives that person the rock multiple times. Now, in my opinion, early in the season, keep in mind Jeff Wilson Jr. wasn't really doing much, primarily because he was coming off an injury. Seemed like he was rusty. Yes. I know he had 100 and some odd yards in one of those games. I forgot what game it was that he had 100 yards. And was it the Bengals game or was it the I don't think it was a Texans game, but it definitely wasn't the Texans game. But a few games towards the end of the season, he had 100 something yards and he looked like he was coming back to be the player I always liked. I liked Jeff Wilson a lot last year, a whole bunch. And he's a tough runner, and he's not the fastest running back, but from time to time, he can get you some big runs with his sneaky type speed, you could say. And I'd love to see Jeff Wilson integrated a whole lot more. I think it makes more sense to keep on running your well, he's our bell counter, I guess you could say, Elijah Mitchell. Just keep him fresh, in the third and fourth quarter. Integrate Wilson a bit more here and there, and then Mitchell won't be tired out in the third or fourth quarter. And then next thing you know, in the third or fourth quarter, Mitchell's likely to bust a freaking 40-yard touchdown or 50-yard run because his cardio is up to par, and he's, the defense he might be facing might be tired, but he's full of energy and he's got the speed obviously to do it, and he'll be able to break a long run. So I'd love to see them mix it up more, of course, man. I definitely, and if who knows if they reactivate Sermon again. Why not give Sermon a shot? The one game that he had multiple carries, albeit they're primarily up the middle type runs, but he was pretty successful against the Seahawks. So, who knows?
Yeah. Then other question, of course, I think is the elephant in the room, Jimmy Garoppolo. How confident are you that Jimmy Garoppolo would not mess this up? Because he doesn't have to do too much. As far as I see, if Jimmy can stay away from turning the football over and he just be the game manager, just supporting his players, just do what Kyle asked him to do, not screwing up too much, there is a good chance that we can come up victorious. But how confident are you?
I'm as confident as the word confident can ever be. Jimmy G's destined for the Hall of Fame. Jimmy G's the greatest 49er quarterback since Joe Montana. That's the best Jimmy. That's the best Dave Lombardi impression I can do at this point in time. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not ready for Hollywood yet, but I'm trying. But yeah,
was that Lombardi or Hammer?
oh yeah, Jack Hammer.
No, actually, there was a tweet today. Someone said Jimmy Garoppolo is the best quarterback in 49er history after Joe Montana. So I replied to him, you guys know that the man holding his hips, it's from cricket, that meme.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was from, but I saw you post that response.
Yes, so that meme came from a cricket match. It's from a Pakistani cricket fan. So I just tweeted out saying, okay, Steve Young, after hearing this, okay, he's like, oh. but given that, I mean, we are to the playoffs, so how can Cowboys, if we think from Dan Quinn's perspective, how can Cowboys rattle Jimmy Garoppolo? Do you think Micah Parsons will take the major responsibility coming through the gaps or whatever it is to make sure that they try to unsettle Jimmy Garoppolo as soon as possible early in the game? Do you think that they can make an impact, the Cowboys linebackers and defensive linemen?
Okay, so as far, but I'll go back to your other question really quick because I know I was silly with that. It's been hard to be confident with Jimmy this season. I speak for a lot of fans out there. I think very few of them will argue. I haven't really drank much alcohol this year in general, and there were times when watching the game where I think like, oh, you know what? Maybe I would have felt so much better during that game had I had a drink with me, or had I drank a few Excedrins while I was watching the game, because I just felt like it was much needed at that time with the way Jimmy plays. It's hard to feel confident about the guy. I'll be honest with you, man. It's just weird, but every now and then he gets in the groove and he gets those nice. He'll get those nice quick throws off, and he'll throw to certain receivers in stride, and they'll get all those run after the catch plays and yak plays or whatever. And I'm not going to say that I'm not trying to say he's going to do bad and stink it up in Dallas, but again, I'm not going to say he's going to go out there and throw for 350 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns either. But again, I love the run game, and I know Kyle Shanahan loves the run game, and I hear this team cannot stop the run well. So as long as we have that run established, I'll feel okay about Jimmy. Let's just say that I'll feel okay. I think he should be able to get it done, and I think the turnover performance that we had last week isn't something that you see in consecutive games with Jimmy. Sure, every now and then it will come up, and people will rag on him for it, but it's not something you see week by week, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's true. So
Ryan, I got another question. I forgot what it was, but Ryan can answer.
Yeah.
I got a question for Baller real quick.
Yes, so that's what I wanted to ask.
Baller just said he was worried about Compton and Brunskill. I wanted to know, is it because of the defensive line of the Dallas Cowboys, or is it because of the skill of run skill in Compton? Because I think both are good reasons, But I just want to know what you guys think stands out more. Which issue stands out more?
I mean, if we could play Aaron Donald week in and week out, Brunskill would be head straight to the All Pro selections.
Yes. So the question I want that the last question I wanted to ask Basha is that can Micah Parsons or other their defensive linemen come through and try to unsettle Jimmy Garoppolo early in the game? Do you think that Dallas have the capability to do that? Because Micah Parsons has a tendency to get into the quarterback, pressuring the quarterback, sacking the quarterback. I think one of the best athletes I have seen in terms of defensive players in the whole league. So do you think that they have the capability?
Sorry about that. I think Micah Parsons is a capable pass rusher, but they'd have to move him around in order for him to be capable. Because I'm feeling pretty confident as far as confidence goes. You brought up confidence earlier. If he's hovering over Trent Williams' side the whole time, I know Trent Williams is coming off an injury, but I wouldn't be too. If I was a Cowboy fan, I wouldn't be too confident about Micah Parsons having a huge impact if he's going to be going against freaking Trent Williams the whole time. But like Barry Baller mentioned in there, is they do have DeMarcus Lawrence still, and if they do flip flop and move these guys around or run stunts on some of these guys, they could be a problem for us. Sometimes our offensive line steps up and looks really good. I mean, Brunskill and Compton are not players. Who would ever thought that Compton would have any success at all being a starting tackle on our team, because he looked terrible last year as a guard, I believe, when we threw him in there. I think we had him in that guard last year at times, and I forgot. I don't know if we ever had him at center.
Well, that could be the difference, because usually a guard, you kind of got to know how to get low. So if he's not good at getting low, you'll have a tough time as being a guard.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the Dallas Cowboys D-line putting on pressure because that's what they excel in. That's what they do best. So, but it helps to have Trent Williams, and sometimes those guys who are our lesser-known guys on the line, sometimes they step up and perform. Do we have to have Kittle back there to help them? Hopefully not, because I want to see Kittle running around and catching passes.
I think for Beria Bolas concern, I also had the same concerns, but I hope that Kyle will at least run the ball 40, maybe 45 times and keep Jimmy under 25-20 passing attempts. The minimum is better. So I wouldn't mind if Jimmy just hand over the ball and fast for 8 times, like championship game, as far as we win the game.
Those games are hard to come by, but hey, I'll welcome it.
Yes. So do you think, so we talked about our weaknesses, cornerbacks, inconsistency about quarterback. But other than that, do you see any weaknesses in Dallas? We know that they are sometimes not good at run defense. But do you see anything specific that 49ers can pick target and make sure that Dallas will pay the heavy price?
Nothing to me stands out. I don't know if Ryan has anything to say about that, but nothing to me really stands out in terms other than they have issues stopping the run. I heard they do give up a lot of yards in the air, by the way, even though Diggs has 11 picks. One thing I will mention that a lot of Diggs' picks were more so on the outside on vertical type passes. Well, guess what? Jimmy doesn't throw those types of passes anyways.
Nope.
he rarely challenges cornerbacks deep. So hey, maybe Jimmy doesn't have to won't throw a pick on Diggs, and we'll just throw to the middle of the field and we'll be fine. And so and supposedly Diggs doesn't. I think I mentioned earlier that he doesn't guard the middle of the field too well. So we'll see.
So I kind of looked into some things, and what I was noticing was the linebackers. And this has to do with the run game. The linebackers off of misdirection can get frozen, which is going to play into the hand of Kyle, like just how he wants it. So this could be one of those games where, yes, Waruna, there could be 35 to 40 runs easily. You know what I mean? The their biggest thing, I don't think putting in more linebackers. I think just them getting heavier up front is their biggest key to success, to try and combat the run game and put the ball in Jimmy's hands.
So one thing I picked up from when looking at the both teams is that for 49ers, discipline. So sometimes 49ers can go vary with the discipline, because even last game we saw Greenlow, he committed, I think he gave away 3 penalties. There was also one unsportsmanlike conduct penalty he gave away when the Rams runner, he was stopped and he went for the face mask, grabbing by face mask. So I'm really worried about that, because we are leading the league in terms of pass interference penalties due to our cornerback situation. So that's one thing I am concerned about, that we have to stay disciplined. We cannot give easy 15-yard penalties so whatsoever, because Prescott, he can come out of the pocket and run here and there. So we have to stay disciplined. That's one thing as a weakness I'm seeing from 49ers as well as Dallas. Time to time, they have a tendency to give up penalties. Overall, I think Dallas gained many penalties as well, but again, they are giving away a lot of penalties. So that's one thing I'm seeing from them. And I'm not really sure how much they will be able to come back if they are down by 2 scores. I think they haven't shown that much this season. So because I believe in that sense, 49ers are much more battle hardened, I would say, because we played some of these games against Cincinnati Bengals, against Rams, and even some of the games that we lost. If you take week 3 against Green Bay, we were down, I believe, 17-0. We almost came back. If we had a defensive stop, we would have won the game. So I believe that's a weakness on Dallas' part and 49ers' part. Discipline, stay disciplined, not committing any too much penalties. So those are the 2 weaknesses I'm seeing from both.
I was just gonna say Dallas led the NFL in total penalties. They had 127. I just pulled it up. They had 127 penalties. The 49ers were actually 18th in the league in penalties, and they had 102. So 102 to 127 by Dallas. So hopefully we can keep that trend.
Yes.
So that'd be nice. And Dallas's defense, I've mentioned, we talked about Diggs and interceptions. In general, that defense may give up yards, but they obviously force a whole bunch of turnovers. So we do have to be careful, especially since people say Jimmy G is so turnover prone. He fumbles from time to time, he throws interceptions. But I was just saying, by the law of averages, I'd be surprised if he had another turnover-ridden game back to back. But you never know.
And they get them from not just like receivers, it's running backs and all that good stuff too. Like they're getting them from everybody. There's obviously the interceptions, but they're catching fumbles and stuff by punching out the ball.
Yeah, that peanut punch.
Yeah, little peanut. Pink.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Dallas's special teams superior to the 49ers? Which isn't saying much, because our special teams has been garbage all year, in my opinion.
Gosh, I would love for somebody was talking about how Robbie Gould's a complete athlete, how Robbie can punt the ball, how Robbie can throw the ball. It's like, okay, so where's our spicy special teams? Like, show me something that, I don't care if you tell me he could do it. I want to see it when we want to get 7 points instead of 3. You know what I'm saying?
I mentioned this weeks ago, early this season, when I had Bay Area Baller 18 on my channel and I had Ray Martinez on my channel. I was just basically saying how Mitch Wisnowski, when they drafted him, they were going on and on about how he was this former rugby player who was strong and he had a good body type, like 225 pounds, and he ran a 4.6 40. And I was thinking, wait, if we got a punter who runs that kind of a 40, which is excellent for a punter, why don't we run him on some fakes or something like that? And Ray Martinez is like, yeah, man, where's the creativity? And it's true. And just like you said, how versatile Gold is, and yet we don't do any tricks. And to Gold's defense, I rag on him a lot for missing certain field goals or extra points from time to time. But when he had to step in for Mitch Wisnowski last week, he looked pretty good. Wisnowski, by the way, is cleared from a concussion protocol.
Robbie, if you don't need the points, Robbie can be here and there. But if you need the points, dead nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, man comes through when you need it from within 45 yards, But hey, if your season depends on a 56-yarder, well, it's a coin flip anyways.
Good luck,
you know what I'm saying?
Anyway, he is aging, and I really like him.
Anyway, he's getting old.
Bayer Baller has a good suggestion there.
Yes, it's a very good suggestion. We came close to that name. We really came close to that name, but
we came and we kind of want to throw. So I don't know. We might have to rebrand over this.
Yeah, I think we should do this. I think we should.
Well, we got to do this. All right.
Yes.
It's Barry Baller's fault. No BS. Well, can we get the name though? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
So I think the last topic of the day. So we talked about special teams because I included special teams because I'm kind of worried because again there is an inconsistency in our special team performance. Nothing special about our special teams. So there can be situations that it might cost us the game. I think 49er fans have painful memories. It was Mike Williams, right, who fumbled the ball twice in NFC Championship game?
Kyle Williams. I was at that game. I was at that game.
I so wish Kyle Williams would have been hanging around, walking all by himself in Hunter's Point after that game.
Oh my god! Well, he was receiving death threats and all that. I thought that was way overboard, but yeah.
No, that's not way overboard. That's almost okay.
Hey, so Terry, is it Terry Cannon? I believe is his name. Or
Trent Cannon.
Trent. I always call him Terry Cannon. I don't know why. Trent Cannon. So they're saying that
Shout
he's
out
active.
to Terry Crews.
I think so. They're saying Trent Cannon is activated, and I think he's going to be I'm assuming he's going to be returning kicks and punts for this upcoming game.
He will not, but we'll see. So final.
He had one really, really good return for us this year, from what I remember.
Yes, true. In the
Packers game.
Yes, that helped us to get the touchdown at the 2-minute drive.
They should try Dante Johnson at punt return. Just throwing that out there because he's been on this team and he doesn't do much miraculous. And even though I think last game he did do something really well, but let's try him to see if he can.
I would do
spice
this.
It up
I
a
would
bit.
do what Bola is saying because Debo, he can run, he can catch the ball, he can play quarterback. Why not kick return?
Honestly, I was surprised. They actually did have Debo, but if you watch last week's game, they did actually have Debo back ready to return the kickoffs, but the balls flew over his head and they were touchbacks.
Yes,
it was like on 2 occasions. But I was thinking in general. I'd love to see Debo return kicks, and I was kind of excited that Ayuk was going to be the punt returner this year, but he just looks so out of place when he's a punt returner. Yes. I don't know why.
What if they put Hasty back there?
I was thinking they should have either put Sherfield because he's got the speed. He's kind of built. Or even Ambry Thomas.
Hasty does have fumble issues, but he's got that little bit of speed.
But and
his fumble issues are trying to go for extra yards when he should just get down and put a knee down. Sorry.
I'm saying Thomas was a very good returner in Michigan. I don't know why he never got the shot. Maybe he did in practice and he wasn't looking good. I don't know. But Thomas was really nice as a returner in college, so who knows?
Yes, but I was thinking about this now, having Debo as kick returner, punt returner. Can Debo be the head coach, offensive coordinator, do that as well? Because Debo is so talented.
You
I
want him
want
to
to
be like
see him.
LeBron James is on the Lakers, where
Yes, I
LeBron
want to
James is the GM, head coach, and plays all
everything.
5 positions.
Yes. So coming into I think the hardest part of the episode, prediction. What do you think? I know you are going to pick 49ers, but give me a score line as well.
Yeah, you know, I was pretty iffy about playing the Cowboys, but looking more into it and looking at our strengths and weaknesses and feeling a whole lot better about our cornerback situation now that Ambry Thomas is in the mix and getting better week by week. Mosley came back and has looked pretty damn good as of late. I still think, though, partially, since it's a playoff game, it's in Dallas. Regardless of how many 49er fans are going to show up, still think it's going to be a closer type game. So I'm saying 29-23 Niners.
Okay, right.
Oh, I've been going back and forth. I almost want to do a replay last week when I correctly called the score of the game at 27-24. But
Yes.
I think it's going to be 30-27.
Okay, 49ers. Okay, so
Yes, 49ers.
He's like, yes.
We ain't going.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Was there
Yes.
another option? My bad. I didn't think I needed to.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yes.
I would say it would be a low-scoring game, most probably in the range
Oh.
of.
Bashar, he said yesterday we were going to lose. So mind this.
Yes,
Low scoring,
so I
and we
think-
lose.
Who said
I
we're going to
think-
lose yesterday?
I said it
Oh.
because I still have some doubts. I have some doubts over this. Have a bad feeling that there are certain parts that can go wrong. Since I would say
There's definitely parts
it's
that can go wrong.
probably 23-20 win for Cowboys. I hope I'm wrong on this.
23-20? Got you.
Yes, so I hope I can be pretty dead wrong on this, and people come at me after the game saying, "Oh, you are a sore loser. You can't get your predictions right."
What I feel, what's another thing that makes me just feel good in general about this team, though, and going to the playoffs, and about this game, obviously, is that aside from freaking Kinlaw and Mostert, we pretty much have all our guys coming back. So
Yes, it's a healthy team.
I think that's a huge plus. It's a huge plus.
Yeah, I think there is a one level Debo could go that he can be the governor of California. That's the level I want Debo.
Yeah, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, huh? Yeah, might as well.
Yes.
You know what? They used him so much last game, though, that he was on the sidelines just sucking wind over and over again and like buckled over. So if you find that you're beating them well enough, maybe you don't use him so much to try and keep him fresher going down. That not that you have to stop using him and this and that. You obviously want to, make sure you keep putting on points. But I think I would, try and, not use him as much as they are.
Yes. I think we will have to play like there is no tomorrow, because anyway, they will come hard. The Cowboys will come hard at 49ers. So I think 49ers, even though we are healthy, we did not have any like thumping wins like Buffalo did today in the regular season. All
gosh.
of our wins, apart from the Rams game, the first Rams game where we won like 31-10. Other than that, all the games that we won, either it was close. Against good teams, it's always very close game. So I don't think we can relax even a one bit of a second. We will have to go full throttle, even if it is risking the players health-wise. So yeah, so I think that's for the today. So I would like to thank Basha 49er Minded coming on to our show. our second episode, sharing your thoughts, giving back your memories about that growing up, watching that legendary Cowboy and 49 matchups. And so, Ryan, what do you have to say before we wind up?
Can't listen to those haters, man.
Can't listen to them haters, man. It's from my 49er Minded theme song.
Oh, which you need to go to YouTube and subscribe. Check out all of his content. Man's a great fan and a good friend of our channel.
Yes.
Yeah, I thank you guys for having me on. I feel honored. It's only the second show that you guys have had on, and I was kind of burnt out.
You are our first guest, basically.
I was kind of burnt out this week because I did 3 shows back to back to back, and now this is my 4th show this week, and it's okay because I love talking Niners. And today I just happen to feel like total garbage all day long, and I literally feel like $1 million since the live button was hit to go on the show. I literally feel so much better physically and mentally right now. So hey, thanks for having me on. It was good medicine for all it's worth. And I want this positive energy going forward for Sunday. I hate the freaking Cowboys. I can't stand some of their delusional fans. As much as I've critiqued Jimmy G so damn much, hopefully he pulls a great game out of his back pocket, and the run game's on point, and Debo and Jennings and Ayuk and Kittle are all doing well, and Kyle,
and in general, don't stop running the ball.
As far as my channel goes, though, I do things a little bit differently. It's 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Some of these guys like my theme music, which is all fun. I have a new theme song coming for season 2 of 49er Minded. So that will be my intro theme music. The old one will be the outro theme music. I do different things where sometimes we talk about, 49er fans' experiences from being a Niner fan. And then obviously we talk about weekly games coming up. If there, who knows if there's going to be more weekly games after this game. But, we have the other season to talk about when that comes along. But every now and then we talk about people's favorite foods or people's favorite musicians or rappers. And I'll bring on different people like the guys who do those 49er rapper hype songs. So I just try to mix it up and do things more according to my taste, which is, a little bit more eclectic than your typical 49er channel. Because I never claimed to be George Seaver. I never claimed to be Bill Walsh. I never claimed to be Bill Belichick. But I have passion for this game. I love the game, and I love talking about this team. So that's it.
That's why you're here.
So we enjoy your channel, so please subscribe to 49 Minded. So with having said that, I think we wish you all a very good Sunday. We should come up with a 49er victory. I hope the 49er community can celebrate the victory tomorrow evening.
Peace.
Because it's 49er Minded.
Peace out. Thanks, guys.